All right, we should be up and running. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody out there on Twitch and YouTube, regardless of where you are in the world or what time of day it is for you. As usual, I hope you're doing exceptionally well. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. I know I say that every stream, and I will continue to say it every stream because it really does mean a lot to me. I don't get to say it in every video. It would take up a lot of time in those videos. The live streams are meant to be more of an authentic connection, so here I am saying it every single time. I'm really thankful. It's something that I don't ever want to get lost on me is that people spend time watching my content, so thank you for that. If you are here for the first time, I do want to start calling this out a little bit more. On YouTube, hit the like button, and on Twitch, use your Twitch Prime if you have it. I'd really appreciate the support. My goal is next year to be full-time as a content creator and give you guys more content, more games, more all of that stuff. Things that I've dreamed about for a long time are starting to seem like it could become a reality. So, that said, I do want to start off by talking about something that I found really interesting. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Upriser. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Bobby. Woosty, you're up early. I'm going to say that every time, by the way. If you're up before like 9 a.m. your time, I know that you're up early. W haircut. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, my barber is an absolute legend. I realized I hadn't gotten to see him in like 2 months. I wanted to bring something to your attention that I thought was really interesting. And this is going to... I'm going to put out the disclaimer. This is bordering on a political conversation, but it's not really a political conversation. Not like in its nuances, okay? It's more of a thing that I learned yesterday that I wanted to share with you guys. And kind of a start to something that I'm not sure how to feel about yet. So, I will say right off the rip, before I show anything, there is a well-known creator in the Overwatch space in this thread. He posted this publicly, so I don't have any problem sharing this. But I also want to make sure I'm clear that I do not want any of you to get defensive or anything like that, because I actually think that the thoughts that he provided were plenty. They were good, they were helpful, and ultimately they led to my betterment. So I just want to go ahead and give you that disclaimer before I show you this, but I do want to share it with you and talk about it for a second. So this is a post, I don't know, for those of you that missed it. President Trump decided to share this, which really, this is just egregious, but I'm going to share it directly with you. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, please forgive me, I don't know how to say this person's name, I don't know anything about him. A tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star has passed away, together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump Derangement Syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump. Weird that he's just talking about himself in the third person. With his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. And then he ends it with this like seemingly passive-aggressive thing. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. This is a terrible tweet. This kind of it was reminiscent to me when I first saw it, and I'll get into what changed a bit here in a minute. But like, it is still reminiscent of all of the hatred towards Charlie Kirk when he died, when he was literally murdered. Okay, this is a murder, and to twist this probably nothing to do with political stuff into a political tweet, especially, was just awful. This is awful behavior, regardless of my initial thought that this is very similar to what happened with Charlie Kirk. This is horrible, and I want to outright speak that, because yes, I voted for this guy, but I don't agree with everything he said, just like any of you that voted for Miss Harris, but also I'm sure didn't agree with everything that she put out there and everything she's ever done. That would be an arrogant statement to say. Now, you can make arguments on nuances, whether or not there's more you agree with on each side. That's part of why there's individuality, right? But I do think that while I voted for this guy, I think it's important that if I'm going to call out the folks that were being, in my original thoughts, awful towards Charlie Kirk, and I'll explain in a minute, that's kind of shifted a bit. I just think that if I'm going to share that, I also need to share this, especially with this, again, being a prominent political figure making stupid statements in a public setting. Okay? Mr. President, this is no better than those who celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. You need to own this mistake desperately. I actually still sort of stand by this. I think there's some other thoughts that I'm going to share in a minute, but like generally, I don't think that was a horrible comparison. Cager, who many of you probably know, I don't know that I've ever really seen him get super active on Twitter, so this one really threw me for a loop. Comparing one of the most notorious racists and misogynists of our time to Rob Reiner. Please forgive me for not being able to say his name well. And it was just, it kind of seemed like a meme, but I was like, no, I felt like maybe he was kind of extreme, because you'll have to understand, not Cager to be clear, but like the statement I should say was extreme. My initial thought was 90% of people, when they claimed these things about Charlie Kirk, they take some wildly out of context clip and they've shared it with me. The things that I had seen up to this point, and I will get into more of this in a minute, never really gave me a clear indicator that he absolutely was these things, or could have been. A lot of the things were just very vague and that kind of stuff. So we get into this, and I went ahead and said, if you're saying Charlie was a racist, I definitely know you're rage baiting. I honestly thought he was rage baiting, especially with the meme using Charlie Kirk. It just kind of seemed like he was memeing at first, so I didn't take it seriously, and I responded that way. And then he clearly was being serious, because then he responded with, no, I don't think I am. Those two videos, especially the former, will change your mind, but I doubt you care about that anyways. That passive-aggressive statement I really wish he hadn't made. For those that want to change someone's mind, any other person, most people, if you say, but I doubt you care about that anyways, all you're going to do is piss them off, and they aren't going to listen to your side of an argument. So I do want to criticize that. I think that was a very poor way to, like, if he had just said, I don't think I am, these two videos, however, especially the former, will change your mind. I hope you look into this, because I think it would change your thoughts. Something like that would have been much healthier of a response, but I chose to bite into it anyway for a very, very, very big. Yeah, I'm chewing through the first video right now. Actually, I'm about an hour and 5 minutes into it. So this was the first video that was recommended, and I'll share what I said. I guess it's under my camera right now. I'm sorry. Give me just a sec. So the initial response I gave him was, your passive-aggressive nature is unnecessary, but I'll bite. I'll add those to my watch later, but only because I'm hopeful your ability to teach Overwatch carries over to other areas. Too many people use clips removed from context to support what you're claiming. I hope you have a good day. And that is true. Up to that point, the only clips I had seen, when you put them in their context, like the racist ones, generally speaking, had to do with his thoughts on affirmative action. He should have phrased them immensely better. And there does lend the idea that, okay, if he could have phrased them better, why didn't he? Which then you start to question. I can see why people question it, right? But on their face, I have to be really careful with that. You do know this hurts your image, right? No, and I actually really don't care if it hurts my image, because my content is intended to have these conversations. I don't care that the Overwatch community is generally liberal. It actually challenges my beliefs, and that's part of what we're going to get to in a minute. And Averted, I want to encourage you to stick around for this, because you may actually be surprised where this goes. Fair? And anybody who is there. So we get moving forward. And so I then went ahead and watched Dakota, thanks for the 16 months, bro. Good morning. I then went ahead and watched this one. It's called You Are Not Violent. He talks about performative pacifism and a few other things, and I'm just going to read you guys my exact response to it, because I replied to this one. I'm still chewing through this. This other one's like 2 hours long, so I didn't quite finish it last night, in fairness. But I linked that one. I said, I listened to this while on my drive to work. Admittedly, I had to swallow my pride that rose up in the first 2 minutes and then started over. It definitely brought a few key things to light that I had not considered previously. First, the whole point of the video, performative pacifism. While I was not aware of it, I definitely fit that description. I'm going to elaborate slightly on this while I'm on the live here, and I won't take long on this, and I genuinely mean that. Performative pacifism is this idea that, like, superlative phrases that are kind of like a no duh, we all agree with this. No one thinks that murder is okay until you find a reason to kill someone. It's a cold, hard reality, right? I think he used, and you'll have to forgive me because there was a lot of information like in this video. It's very packed. But if I remember correctly, and even I'll say it this way. An example that I would use, regardless of whether he used it, is, I think pretty well everybody here. Okay, well, look, Averted and Reinhardt, if this isn't your cup of tea, rather than degrading me and coming at me, maybe Reinhardt was responding to you directly, Averted. But if you both believe that I shouldn't be getting into this, tune out. It's okay. Go watch another streamer. I'm not going to be hurt by you watching somebody else or doing something else with your day. You could unfollow and move on, and that's okay. This is my kind of content. I talk about these things because I think they're way more important than a freaking Overwatch game. All right? Sorry. I'm not going to continue to tolerate that kind of talk. You guys can stick around if you want. You're not going to sit here and berate me. So, this performative pacifism it kind of comes back to like, so when Charlie was murdered, myself and a whole slew of others said the very, very similar phrase of, hey, all murder is not okay. No one should be murdered for their ideas. That exact phrase I used a lot. And when you really think about it, I think pretty much every single person here would agree that there are people who should not be on this planet because of their ideas, because they are a net negative to society. Look at Adolf Hitler. Of course, he ended up, you know, not dying by someone else's sword, right? But he did die. I won't go into the specific words because it can be censored. He did die because he knew he was going to be captured. So in essence, he knew he was going to be, he would have consequences for his actions. And I think pretty well every person here, apart from very, very, very fringe minority, would agree that if Hitler had not done what he did to himself, that someone else taking his life would have been okay. I don't think too many people would disagree with that. And if you do, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, because I don't see a world where that makes any sense. So really, his ideas, which is really what he believed, were what he lived his life doing. And if you fast forward a bit to now, you can make an argument that Charlie didn't deserve to die for his specific beliefs. That's an argument you can have because there's some nuance to it, and I think that's appropriate. But the initial just writing it off in general was a very poor mistake on my part, because it lacked in empathy, which I realized from this video. It lacked in empathy to understand why other people were so... I don't know that anybody... Like, I would say during that time, if I'm remembering correctly, there really weren't people that were celebrating his murder. What people were doing was saying things like, you know, I'm not really sad that he's gone because of X, Y, and Z things that I perceive of him. Now, if there were people actually outright celebrating it, it still doesn't really change much in my mind, because what the response should have been is, why are you celebrating this? Because when people celebrated Hitler being done, right? No one really questioned that. No one really questioned it, right? We just kind of looked at it and said, okay, yeah, fair enough. Sure, yeah, and there were ideas, and that's something else that, like, I learned a bit through this, and I'll share that I agreed with you up until recently. I also believe very strongly that words have power. And we don't have to, again, I'm not getting into whether or not I still align with... How do I'm trying to tread carefully with this, because I really want to choose my words well. I think that without listening to why they thought it was okay, and gosh, I'm trying to really think this through. We needed to understand, I think, a little bit more, because building understanding is how you bridge the gap between where your ideas are and where someone else's ideas are. And that's something, as someone I claim to be, which is that, all right, yeah, we'll just, I'll take the pleasure in doing that one. You can take 10. And Reinhardt, I'm gonna do the same for you, man. I have to be equivalent. Don't take it personally. Take 10. I was really clear in the please quit talking about this, and you both kind of pushed it. So I'm just going to send you both into a 10-minute. If you want to come back, great. If you don't, it really will. I'll be bummed because, you know, Reinhardt, you and I have gamed together, but, like, this is not something that I'm willing to tolerate at all. I was very clear on that, and I am asking you guys to respect that. So, are you saying you didn't have empathy for the people that disagreed with him and wanted him dead? Wait, hold up. I'm not sure that I'm understanding what you're saying. Are you saying you didn't have empathy for the people that disagreed with him and wanted him dead? It's a bit odd. No, I didn't have empathy for them, because I believe that anybody, in my mind, that because of someone's beliefs, this was my time, this was what was going on at the time. I'm not saying this is still how I think. I'm just saying this is how I was thinking at the time. My initial thought is, anybody who says you know, death to this person over their ideas. That's a horrible thing to think. But now when you really true into the nuance of it, that's not actually true if you play it out to its full logic. Because there are plenty of people we would all justify for dying for their beliefs. Because their beliefs are not healthy for society, right? So there's a balance in what is healthy for society. There's a conversation to be had. There's nuance to be had. There's objective truth. There's a lot of nuance into this. There's a lot of nuance. And that's why I didn't really want to talk about this too much. But the reason I chose to is because I believe that we have to balance this out. Both sides of this. We need to listen to the other side, because here's the thing. Let me finish reading this, and there's a very, very short and sweet way to put this. So please let me finish this, because I'm going to get lost in nuance. We're going to spend way too long being here. Second, the idea of addressing hypocrisies within my own belief system and having the courage to look them in the face to sort them out. I.e. things like the phrase that I just used, where it's like, okay, we shouldn't kill people for their ideas. But then you look at Hitler and his ideas, and ultimately, no one in the world would have been upset if, well, very few people in the world would have been upset if he had been killed for his ideas. There is a balance. Okay? Basically saying, I have to look at the hypocrisy and address it. That doesn't mean that I shouldn't hold the worldview. It just means that I have to look at it and say, okay, so how do I handle this nuance? Do I actually believe that no one should be killed for their ideas, except small circumstances that are nuanced? Or do I just not believe it at all? It's the idea of thinking it through. Okay? Third, the idea that I need to allow empathy to be my first response, especially as someone who claims to seek understanding of other people's positions. This is an area I need to do better in, full stop. This is absolutely correct. When I had my crash out over Charlie Kirk's assassination, I needed to start with empathy and not let my rage and anger take over first, because that rage and anger on both sides is what is continuing to drive the divide that exists right now. We need to bridge the gap. That's going to require compromise. It's going to require talking. It's going to require, and it doesn't mean compromise on everything. Some things are really worth fighting over, and and I really want to be clear. I'm not talking about physical violence. I'm just saying debating maybe is a better word. Talking about trying to get through the ideas. And so what I'm working through right now is trying to understand whether or not Charlie was one of these people that these folks are portraying him to be. And I think that I still have to do a lot more digging. I'm finishing the 2-hour video like I promised Cager I would do. Once I'm finished with that, I'll provide some additional thoughts, and then I'm going to do my own research that goes apart from these videos and really dig deep and go, okay, so, like, because he actually cites several of the quotes right here. And I'm not going to read these out loud, okay, because someone will clip this and take it way out of context, okay? So you guys are welcome to read through this, but these are the things that a lot of people claim. Charlie said these are direct quotes, and by the way, I've seen some of these, so he did say them, but again, this is completely lacking in context. This, I don't know that there's any context that it saves. There is one thing that he talked about that I will straight up say in this video that I was appalled. They were talking about the topic of abortion, and as a pro-life person, I was very curious to hear this, but someone posed the question to Charlie as to whether or not if a 10-year-old girl was forced, we'll say it that way, and impregnated, would Charlie, if it was his daughter, would he require her to carry the baby to term? His answer was yes. My answer would have been no. Absolutely freaking not. And the guy under this hypothetical, by the way, the 10-year-old would have survived. Okay, that's obviously a key portion of this, because 10-year-olds don't usually in this situation. This is a gruesome topic, but the reality is, I would have said absolutely not. That's insane. That's insane. Okay? As a pro-life person, there is nuance. There, of course, is nuance, right? And you can get into the conversation of where the nuances lie and stuff like that, but, like, there is nuance, and there's an objective truth to that idea. So, it's very interesting, because I got one comment, I think, so far. I don't the last part, I think, was just kind of silly, but, wait, you're actually a decent guy with self-awareness, willing to take the L. Of course I'm willing to take the L. If someone can prove to me that I'm wrong, prove to me that I'm wrong. Give me the facts. Like, I'm happy to change my opinion. Anybody who isn't willing to change their opinion when new facts are presented is ignorant, purely and plain and simple. But the problem I've had is that up to last night, I hadn't had anything that appeared to be factually based about this conversation. It was just a lot of bumper sticker arguments, which did the other side of the argument a huge disservice, because I stopped thinking about it. It's like, well, clearly these guys don't have anything except bumper stickers. I need to move on. Now that I'm getting someone who seems to actually have some shred of intellect about it, I'm like, okay, I can actually look into this. And whether or not I end up agreeing with him is not the point. It's that I've at least challenged my beliefs. And at the very least, it has challenged me and fixed something where I needed to be more empathetic as an initial response rather than angry and outbursted. I hope that makes sense. No matter what kind of hate you get, I hope you know this is something to be proud of, and I'm proud of you, which I think is really nice. The end is kind of, I don't know if they're being serious or not. I feel like they're trolling, but yeah, you'll have to pronounce, if I mispronounce any of this, please forgive me, but I believe that's inshallah. You will one day become a woke, transgender, 12er, a sadist, Leninist. I feel like that was just a meme. But anyway, yeah, gaming for woke, exactly. But here's my thing. Like, when I got into Overwatch, I knew when I started that this was a very liberal-pilled game. Okay? And what I mean by that is what the United States terms as kind of the liberal, progressive, left, whatever word you want to use, side of the argument. And it's very obvious, by the way. If it was right-winged, you'd be able to tell too, right? Right-winged, you'd see a lot of like hardcore nationality-focused things, right? Because it's an international game, so it wouldn't just be like the United States perception of conservatism, but you would have a lot less of the LGBTQIA plus pride stuff built into the game. Not saying that's a bad thing, by the way. I'm just saying that if it wasn't that side of the spectrum, you would see a lot less of that. So in the objective reality we live, that Overwatch is very liberal-pilled, there's nothing, again, wrong with that, but I know that I enjoy the game. I have a different worldview than a lot of the folks do that play the game and support the game, and I'm okay with that, and I entered into this game knowing that. So when I talk about these things, it's not meant to say, you know, people are horrible if they disagree with me, although I will admit, during the whole Charlie Kirk thing, when I crashed out, I fully said that, which is why I personally removed the VOD, because I regretted my decision drastically. I don't stand by a lot of the things I said that night. I was super pissed off, and I should not have streamed. I know better than that. I'm 29 years old. I should know better than that by now. It was a pure and unadulterated mistake. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I wanted to share that with you guys because I've always said that, like, I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress, and I'm working on it. This is one of those areas that I'm working on. And I hope that you guys will allow me to learn out loud, because I think that in doing this, I can set an example for those that maybe wouldn't have done that. Shut up, Dean. I don't think Soldier 76, the American war hero, would be gay if it was right-wing. Exactly. It's completely valid. And again, no hate. I don't care. I play the game for a reason, right? I guess I'm just saying all that to say, I felt like it was appropriate for me to share this with you, because one of the things that I hope with my content is that as I create the content I create, you guys can see that I am not perfect. I never claimed to be, but I claim to be a person, a human being who is working on themselves. I am not perfect. Cannot stress that enough. And all I ever ask from people is when they have a difference of opinion with me, share the facts. Don't give me bumper sticker, excuse the phrase, bullshit arguments, because it doesn't help anybody. Okay? It doesn't help anybody. We don't ever get anywhere. It doesn't further the conversation. If you truly believe everything you're saying, we'll say about Charlie Kirk, you are never going to convince someone from the other side of the conversation in general, but particularly if you don't give them the facts to sway their opinion. Now, in this 2-hour-long video, the guy does say that facts don't really change a bunch of things, which I actually don't really agree with. I think that facts are the thing that needs to change, because without objective fact and without objective truth, there is no changing people's minds. There's a culture shift, yes, and that's part of it, but you absolutely have to have the facts as well. He kind of made it seem as though, at least the way I understood it, that you need more of the changing the culture and less of the facts. I'm like, no, you need to have both pretty equally. Otherwise, it doesn't change. I do agree with him. You need both. I have not read that. Would you? I'm sorry. I hate to ask you, Bobby. Would you, if you don't mind, would you mind to dig through there and send those to me directly? Because honestly, I don't. Okay, no worries, Reinhardt. Like I said, I don't have any hatred towards you, and I said that in the moment. I had to be equal. If I'm going to be timing someone else out for the same behavior, I have to do it to you. So I don't want to be that guy that's saying, oh yeah, my subs can get away with anything. That's what that would translate as otherwise. So no worries. What do you put in your lasagna? Like, is it just a normal lasagna, or like Well, I guess normal. I say normal, but you're not from the US, so it might be different there. I don't know. You already have it? Yeah, would you DM it to me? Because I just don't want to have to go digging through it. That's all. It really isn't left versus right. It's rich versus poor. I don't think it's anybody versus anybody. It's looking for the common good. I really don't like that idea. I'm going to be honest. Like, I understand why people say that. So much word the lisp all of a sudden. I understand why people say that. And I'm not necessarily fully disagreeing. I'm just saying that I don't think we need to turn the current divide into a different targeted divide. I think we need to find the way to bridge the gap, right? People who are incredibly wealthy want to keep their wealth. It's greed. How do you fix that? I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I don't think that the answer is continuing to say it's us versus them. I don't think that that's a healthy way to handle this. Now, that's all I've got on that. Eat the rich is the answer? Ooh. Cannibalism seems a little extreme, but all right. Okay. Over on YouTube, I think it's, I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. Itad, I'm going to call you Itad. I used to be on the Gaming for Hope hate bandwagon, but after watching your content and turning into your lives, I see that you're a decent guy. We have similar views. I really mess with you now. I appreciate that. And don't just mess with people because you have similar views. Be willing to, like, oh man, I'm going to go on another tangent and I don't care. The algorithms that we all are part of at this point, with social media especially, will create an echo chamber for you. Even if you do your best to design your groups that you follow in a diverse way, it will create an echo chamber for you because it keeps you engaged longer when it reaffirms your beliefs. Plain and simple. It's not some evil thing. The algorithms are determined on keeping your attention, and that attention is kept when you have a lot of things that you enjoy seeing and agree with. I really want to encourage you guys, intentionally carve some time out of your day or week. No, I wouldn't say month. I'd say at least once a week to objectively and with a clear mind, without your pride, listen to someone else from the other side of the aisle. Try to find someone who isn't an extreme on either side, okay? I'm not saying for a liberal you should listen to Ben Shapiro. I'm not saying for, I actually don't know an equivalent for the liberal side, to be perfectly real with you. And I'm still doing this myself. I'm still trying to find someone. If you guys have suggestions of someone who is fairly liberal-minded, but isn't like a huge extremist, would you mind to just DM them to me? Don't put them in the chat. It'll purge your chats. Don't do that. Unless you're just going to give me like, but I would love a link to a channel that I can go check out. Hassan? Okay, good point. Hassan is very extreme. Can't argue with that. Greed. So being wealthy is not a sin, but greed is. Yeah, I agree with you. Algorithms seriously skew what people think is the norm, so they're operating on this crazy consensus bias. True. And it's on both sides, by the way. That's an important thing to note. As a conservative, we don't listen to Ben Shapiro. There are things that I have agreed with him on in the past, but I'm starting to be a bit more critical now. So I'm with you guys. I'm learning. All right. I'm learning. I'm trying. Drew Gooden. Greed is destroying the world. I think I actually know who you're talking about. There's another guy that I watch a lot that's like that. Hey, I appreciate it. I have no idea how to say your name, but greed is destroying the world. Oh, him. Okay, no, I did not watch that, but I have seen that pop up on my For You page. No, Hassan's the third result. Oh, God. Okay. I won't listen to people on the other side of the aisle. Blue players need to be silenced, obviously, right? Clearly. I joined the community like a year before the drama happened. It was so funny seeing it from the inside because I didn't realize there was drama till a week later. No hate. But is what you're describing not fence sitting? If not, you can say why it is not. When you, okay, what am I saying that to you is fence sitting? Because I don't understand. I've heard this term and I think I understand it, but I don't want to operate on an arrogant assumption. I want you to help me understand where you're coming from. What is fence sitting to you? So that I can help define a term there. Yeah, Deaton does hate Smurfs. Tim Pool. Isn't Tim pretty conservative? Or are you talking about something else? Oh, Tim. No, I don't think he's a fence sitter. I feel like he's pretty conservative. He's a right-wing guy. I don't know if fence sitting is bad. I'm trying to understand the term before I actually speak into it. I'm happy to have this conversation. It looks like we're all ready to have a good conversation this morning, which I'm here for. It is putting yourself in a position with plausible deniability from arguments on both sides. Okay, so here's my thing. What I've understood fence sitting to be, I feel like we're using really big words when we really don't need to. Fence sitting to me, in the way that I've understood it, I'll define the term the way I've understood it, and then I'll answer your question, because I think that your definition is a little too verbose. Fence sitting is this idea that people are upset about, where there's an argument, and you're willing to hear both sides, and there's a balance of nuance in between, where you don't really fully agree with either side, but you sit in the middle. And in that definition, I think we need more of it, not less. Because the cold hard reality is that every argument that exists out there has way more nuance than people make it seem. There is not just a black and white. Excuse the potentially, it's not really meant to be a racial thing, so I hope you understand that. It's not just black and white. There's nuance, there's areas of gray, there's conversation to be had, and that's why it's not as simple as a black and white statement, because there's nuance. Nuance is where people sit on the fence, and I think that's appropriate. That's honestly fair, boss. I don't necessarily disagree with you. Yeah, I think so, Upriser, for sure. Fence sitters are too afraid of the social consequences of reviewing their true political beliefs, so they play both sides publicly and act as if both sides are equally to blame for everything, never taking a true stance out of fear. Both sides are to blame for everything, because we keep saying the term both sides. I completely think if we get rid of this bipartisan BS, that this problem starts to absolve. But that's going to take a lot more time than me saying anything about it. So I guess to your point, you guys know that I don't, if I have a clear belief, I say it. Sometimes to my detriment, and sometimes later on I end up deciding and finding out from facts that come out that I need to change my thought. That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I'm concerned about. My concern is purely that, and the only problem, let's see, the only people who have a problem with are ones who expect you to take a side when you don't need to. Yeah, and I think that too many people on both sides of the arguments, by the way, this isn't just a liberal or conservative mindset. Both sides want you to fully align with them. Like, if you're not fully pro-choice or you're not fully pro-life, then you're a fence sitter and you're a horrible person. Like, I don't think that that's a fair take at all. I think there's a lot more nuance to it than people think. I agree, but you do not, but you do need to have a position initially. I'm not saying you can't change it. Okay. You will not get anywhere productive. Okay, then we might agree a little bit more than what I'm thinking, because here's the thing. On the internet, the way that people perceive it is like, if you have an extreme position, that you're awful, and if you have a centrist position, you're awful. So I just choose to be more in the center, and I think that I don't fully agree with either side of things. I just don't, and I think that to be forced into that is really a problem. Sure, what I'm saying, it was a generality, Kingdom, and I think you're smart enough to know that, okay? Just based on the way you're carrying yourself and some of the specific things you're citing, I actually think you're smart enough to know that. It was a generality. Don't get too lost in that, okay? Because I do agree that the right is more responsible for things that are like along the lines of a Confederate flag, and that the left is more in responsibility for things that are more in tune with the left side of the argument. We're going to get into a lot of the nuance, okay? I really don't want to get into a lot of the nuance right now. We keep doing it, but I'm really trying to avoid it. My point is that, yes, in the specific example you used, the liberals probably aren't as responsible if at all, responsible for Confederate flags being flown. Okay? We all understand that. But there's an equal side to the other side of it, where they do something similar that goes further, right? At least from the right's perspective. So, yeah, neither side is innocent. That's probably a better way to phrase what I was saying earlier. Thank you for helping me kind of iron that out. I appreciate it. No, I don't want to give an example, and I'll tell you why. It has nothing to do with not having one. It has everything to do with the fact that I keep saying I don't want to get into lost in the nuance, and we get lost in nuance because I keep letting myself get lost in nuance. I do actually want to play Overwatch. I do actually want to do a VOD review, but I really felt that this is an important thing to do, and you guys are having a great conversation, and I want to encourage you to continue it. Jump in the Discord. I'm not always able to participate in there, but there are people from both sides of the conversation that participate in our general discussions tab. And I would encourage you to be part of that if you're willing. It is a very difficult thing to do because it requires you to set aside your pride and talk about it and move on. That's fair, Ryan Cart. I don't necessarily agree with you. All right. Listen, I don't want to spend much more time here in this just yapping session. I probably do need to just starting the stream and just chatting on Twitch. I'm sorry, guys. If you are here for the first time, thank you for being here. I know that we just had we don't have all these conversations all that often. I think this is probably the first time in a while that I've specifically gone into a conversation point that had a political leaning. But I could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm just numb to it at this point. But I want to encourage you to understand that, as you've probably seen in the chat alone today, this community has a very diverse group of people that completely disagree with different things, but we all align ourselves on one core principle. That principle is that life is difficult. Don't do it alone. I think that we can all pretty safely agree on that regardless of our differences. Life is way too hard to go through alone. My personal encouragement, apart from the community, this is me personally, I want to make sure I specify that, is 3 things. Find Christ, find friendship, and find community, in that order. So that when life hits the fan, you can pray to an infinite God who loved you enough to send his son to die for you, effectively bridging the gap between us and him that our behavior created. And the second piece is friendship. Friendship's there for that one-on-one connection that you need to help anchor you into reality when things start spinning out of control. Maybe you've gone through a breakup, maybe you're dealing with some emotional turmoil of other varieties, maybe you're going through an anxiety attack. These things are important, and friendships are important for those things, if I can get my words in the right order. The third piece is community. Community is there when life hits the fan in a practical way at a large scale. Maybe you've lost your job. There's a lot of people going through that right now. And you have your rent coming up. You've burned through your emergency fund. You've maxed out your credit card. There's a lot of people that are in this place right now, by the way. Even the most financially prepared are getting screwed right now because our government can't pull their head out. I get it. But instead of waiting on the government to save you, I believe community is where things can shine heavily. That's why that message pops up in chat. That's why I create the content that I create, to tell people when I send things to charity, because I think that while charity is a small portion of the solution, I do still think it is better than doing nothing. So, community is there for those kinds of things. And if any of those things are... if any of these things are important to you, I want to encourage you to jump in the Discord. That's it. Completely free. You get the opportunity there if you opt in to have difficult conversations about faith and politics. You also have the opportunity to build friendships, and by default, you're part of a community. That said, I do pray on my streams. I understand that not all of you believe in Christianity, and I respect you regardless. If you're not comfortable hanging out for the prayer, I respect that as well. Come back in 3 minutes. Seriously, it never takes longer than that, and I'm usually getting into things by that point. Okay? So, I'm going to pause this. God, thank you so much for today. Thank you for all the people here, regardless of those who think that all of the Bible is just fairy tales and made up BS. It's okay. They can think what they want. Thank you for all of those who outright hate me, and no matter what kinds of humility and steps towards understanding that I take, they'll never see me as anything less than a horrible human being, or anything more than a horrible human being. I'm okay with that. I've accepted that. I accepted that a long time ago. But I pray for those that are willing to listen, that are willing to view, and they're willing to see and hear that I'm trying and that I'm growing, that it would inspire people to do the same. That they would be vulnerable, that they would be willing to share it with the world, at least with their friends. They may not need to be on social media to do this. Just a couple of their friends, and they talk them through and be like, hey, I used to have this mindset, but now I've got this mindset. And it's because of this, that, and the other fact that I was presented. We need to get back to a place where we're willing to change our thoughts based on new information. And this goes for all sides of all arguments. God help me to be an example. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not. And in my brokenness, I pray that your strength would be made perfect. Empty me of the things that won't reflect your light and love into the world around me, and fill me with more of the things that do. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. So that one wasn't even 2 minutes. When average person believes in fairy tales, yikes. An interesting statement. I'd be curious to see what fairy tales you believe are things that people start believing in. Yeah, Fanatic and Deaton are both correct, by the way, in their own rights. So you gotta add mid-prayer. Crazy, man. All right. Let's review a game from yesterday. Any of you that were here yesterday, is there a specific game you think I ought to review? If not, I will just pick one. We'll review it, and then we'll talk about it. While I agree completely with your statement, Kratos, I have to admit that it is absolutely ironic coming from your username. But I agree with you, man. Thank you. Make sure that I think my watch chair gets charged. I really think the Blizzard World game had a moment that stuck with me, but I did already ask you about it, okay? Well, let me look over then. The game will show in a second. It always takes a second delay here. Okay. Let's look over our history, game reports. These two draws, I feel like Rialto was just a... Yeah, someone just DC'd. Yeah, that's fair, Kratos. That's fair. So this game, I actually do think there might be something worth reviewing here. I do know that, like we know, yesterday we all kind of acknowledged my brig was trolling multiple times, but maybe so was I, right? So least deaths, second most damage, I mean, to a bastion, so fair enough. Decent limbs for the damage I put out. So I think that really, what I want to do is probably just look over this one, but we'll look at the data on Colosseo. I don't know. Oh, Dorado is pretty bad. I do remember this one. This one, I know exactly what happened. I don't need to review that one. That one, I was literally just playing too aggressive. I was hard flanking instead of taking it slow. So I do think that actually Kings may not be a bad idea. Have I heard of A10? Yeah, of course I've heard of A10. I play Zarya. Of course I've heard of him. Think of the points in the game where it felt awkward. You didn't know what to do. I'm not sure if we could tell you what to review, Gank. That's valid, yeah. Okay. Get the settings done here. Now, what I've been working on is playing from aggressive off angles and target priority. I don't know where he went, Colwyn. I think that he probably didn't want to answer the question, to be honest with you, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. So one of the things that I did notice, I have to say this really quickly because this is important. I'm going to be watching for this too. Yesterday, I was grabbing clips from several streams for the map tier list I'm making for this upcoming Friday. And I was watching through some of my recent gameplay, and I'm like, good lord, I just sit still quite a bit. I don't do anything. I won't do anything. I'm like, why am I just standing here? Why am I dealing with all this? So like, I think that a lot of this, I want to look for indecisiveness as well. See, now here I chase the Vendetta. Which isn't, I guess, the worst thing, but as soon as I'm glad I backed off when I did. We go here. Yeah, then this is one of those examples of what the f is our Brig doing? Yep. Yep, good target priority so far. I don't hate this. The only thing that I don't really care for is that I'm not looking for another angle. Now, I can't really say that there is another angle based on where they are right now. So I'm not really sure that there's a great way to do that. I have a bubble and a half. I actually could have probably chased this. I don't want to push too far past this first choke though. And that's kind of why I'm so hesitant here. Especially being down a Brig. I'm not sure that I'm actually making a horrible decision so far. That was a great bubble. I have to give myself some credit for that. I don't know what I'm shooting here. The air. Freaking Casper. Okay. Yep. Could have bubbled there if I was just paying more attention. Now I use a really bad bubble because I... okay, it kind of worked. It shouldn't have worked, but it did work. Yep. Now here is not bad. I should actually be in there instead of playing... Well, and honestly, no, I shouldn't. Because, I mean, we're down. Even staying as long as I do, I think I end up dying for this. Which is fair that yeah, I do. There's no way I live here. Yeah, so I actually stayed too long there. I think that once the Bastion was kind of taking their attention, I should have just walked out and lived. Because I had really good charge, right? Like 80 plus? Yeah. So, like, when the Bastion is the center of the focus here. Okay, so they get our Brig right here. I need to walk out. Just leave. Just leave. Leave. Like, I know that there's nothing wrong with, like, trying to do damage or whatever, but, like, leave. This is not the right time to stick around. Just leave. You have high charge. Keep the charge and wait for the next fight. Just go next. And instead I die, lose the charge. It's a problem. I haven't played yet today. We're actually doing a VOD review real quick. This is one of yesterday's games. Yeah, see, and like right now, not the worst thing I've done. Get a little extra charge. But from here forward, I need to be a lot more intentional with my bubbles and using them only when I'm under an immense amount of pressure. Like there wasn't horrible. Yeah, this was a decent play. But I think a lot of the problem here... I know I'm playing this at like 2 XP. We'll slow it down so we're not breaking everybody's necks. I think that... Yeah, our Widow just dies there. There's nothing you can do. Too far forward here. I'm very fortunate that he didn't just burn me at the very beginning there. I know I die here, though. So that's twice now that my deaths have been because I stayed too long. That is definitely a consistent problem I'm having. I feel like Vendetta's block is glitched. I don't know if anybody's talked about that. Kind of like Ram's was for a while. I really feel like her like damage mitigation is super glitched. This is a terrible decision. Yep. This is why, because now I'm separated and yeah, okay, that was a rookie mistake. So that's all 3 of the deaths I've had so far. Is me staying too long. So I think a lot of it is I just need to be a bit more aware today. That's what we're going to work on too, is just being a bit more aware of what's going on and then making the plays accordingly. So Yeah, I don't like Dorado at all. I think it's a terrible map. I don't enjoy it at all. What's up, Jebby? We're about to get into our first one here in a little bit, whenever I queue up. Yeah, Gibraltar is a really rough map right now. The one red flag map, like there's two. Like if you vote for either of these maps, you need to be put on a watch list. Would be Havana and Paraiso. Like straight up. You can't really stop the dive actively as Zarya. You can do something beforehand if you're smart, right? And you're like damaging them and lowering their health pool. But until that point, I do need to go in on the background though. Nice, Jebby, nice. Havana is the other one. No, all of Havana is terrible in my opinion. It's literally just trash. I don't like the map at all. It's just not fun. Like, respectfully, I just don't enjoy it. Do you love Havana? What do you love about Havana? Everybody type POG. I actually remembered to put the music up.
Why seek answers when we do know the question?
You okay, bro? No. Oh, no. Got somebody with some mental problems, man. We need to help them. Someone pay for better help right away. We need to start a GoFundMe for hazardous wastrel. You've been to my therapy sessions. Wait, what? Hello? Oh, I'm Diamond 5 right now. I forgot to update the graphic. That's my bad. We deranked right at the end of stream yesterday. Okay, now they're backing off. Bad shield. I actually probably could have prevented her from living there. Where did she just go? Oh. We have overhealth. Yeah, I actually probably shouldn't have chased the diva there. Great play. I don't know that... Yeah, we need to get the... Ooh. Do we have any supports up? We don't. We have Lucio. I'm blind. There's literally a support on my screen, and I'm saying we don't have a support up. I feel like that I played that okay. W Lucio. I'm gonna look to Flux here. We probably want to get their back line. Okay. Alright. We used a lot of ultimates, but we have Junkrat Tire. Good. I feel like that was actually decent. Thanks, chat. I think I'm gonna start calling chat nephew, just like categorically. So many of you call me Unc. I'm gonna start calling you guys a nephew. Would it be wrong to call you nephew and not niece? What if I say my nieces and nephews? But then am I being inclusive to the non-binary folk? I've always wondered about that. Like, an unironic question. If you identify as non-binary, do you get called niece or nephew? Or do you... I don't know. Like, one of my relatives I grew up with, I would refer to... Well, okay, I think I can safely say this. My sister is what I would normally call her, but they identify as non-binary, so I don't know... I don't know how to deal with that. I'm gonna be honest. Area of ignorance, I suppose, but... Okay. She's gold. That's a very... Oh, that's my teammate. Non-gender conforming sibling. Okay, but listen, that's not realistic. That's not a mouthful. Okay, let's be real. That's an children of my sibling. Wait, what? That would be a crazy thing to call your chat, the children of my sibling. That sounds really weird. Not because of the term sibling, but just I don't know, man. It just sounds weird. Maybe it is because of the term sibling. I'm really not too sure. Oh my. Yeah, that's just I played poorly there. I needed to make a faster decision. Oh, Lou. Look at the touch. Oh my gosh, this man's insane. Non-binster. Non-binister. We just family. True. True. Great mental today. Aw, thanks, man. It's the caffeine. Lucio got the moves. Oh, okay. Shield's gone. Spear's gone. Wait, what? It's an interesting... Oh, don't do that. Oh, we need to just walk. He's dead. He's probably cooked. I feel like that was pretty clean, actually, just there. Our poor Junkrat's like, ah! Someone heal me! Touch me with your healing juice, please. Listen, I'm just trying to keep up with Super, alright? Leave me alone. If I don't moan into the microphone, what am I gonna do to get on the clips? Oh my! I won't do it, but I'm sure I'm thinking about it, chat. It definitely crossed my mind. I'll have you know. I definitely considered moaning just then. You're too old for that? Isn't Super my age? He might be a little younger than me, but he's in his 20s, right? If you moan, I'm leaving. Me too. My wife is also leaving at that point. Just call all your gender neutral nieces and nephews Ventua. True. Have you ever thought to play different tanks to teach you different styles? I played Diva for a while just to reinforce to myself the importance of peel. I don't know that I really feel like you need to play a hero to do that. I think it's actually better to learn how to do that on a hero you already enjoy playing and play regularly. That's my opinion. I feel like that game went pretty well. I'm not saying I didn't make any mistakes. I just feel like that went pretty well. So I'm going to move on. We aren't even going to bother reviewing it. I do want to make a better habit of doing VOD reviews, but that game felt fine. Don't listen to Deaton turning up my sound. Wizard, I love you, bro. I think Super's 25. That probably sounds right. You gotta be a twink femboy to be like Super. True. True. Am I allowed to ask what happened to your arm? You are allowed to ask, and my response is going to be I made a video about it. Because we actually have this question so much that I made a video. It's over on my, like, if you want to watch the longer version of it, it's on TikTok. On YouTube or Instagram, though, it's also available as a vertical. Exclamation point arm. Yo, that's crazy. Wait. Oh, I actually did not know that, Kingdom Key. I wasn't reading. I'm sorry. I'd say that half or more of my games are as banned, generally, if I had to guess. Yes, exclamation point Scar may not be a bad idea, low-key. Yeah, that's probably true. But then which video do you link? Do you link the YouTube, the Instagram, or the TikTok? I feel like TikTok pays better, so I feel like I should link the TikTok. But then not everybody has TikTok, so it's like... Favorite ice cream flavor? The kind with sugar. No, honestly, my favorite is either... I mean, chocolate chip cookie dough is my go-to. Like, hands down. But if there isn't a good brand of chocolate chip cookie dough, it doesn't matter. I'd rather have a cookies and cream at that point. Because I've never had a cookies and cream flavor that just... Their brand that was just awful. But I've had a few cookies and cream... Or chocolate chip cookie dough ones that were just horrendous. So it's like 6, 7? Yeah, something like that. I'm just reading my chat. Leave me alone. They added that as an emote. Is it only for Soldier chat or is it a global one? I haven't looked. Not so different from mine. Do I play 6v6? I enjoy 6v6, yeah. I think it's the better way to play. But because it's not the main mode, I don't play it. If they switched it to the main mode, I'd probably cry happy tears. It's only Soldier? See, I think that should be global. Walk off the cart here. Pressure this Reinhardt back. I'm pinned off the map. Yep. I'm not pinned off the map. Half HP, no bubbles. We're gonna walk. Where's the soldier? Okay, I'm bad. Yeah, that seems more than fair and reasonable. Good grief. We're gonna go back to the jumping. I feel like that's doing fine. I mean, that's big. That's really big. Massive, even. Yeah, that's what I was worried they were gonna do. Oh no! L, David, L. No, I shot it straight into the. No, I'm awful at this video game, bro. I don't know why people watch me. We're 0.23 meters from that, and I threw my ult. Gosh dang it. Oh, wait, what? I mean, I died there. Oh, please don't look. Oh, God. I mean, I didn't really think I'd be able to get out. I probably should have just walked onto the other side of that canyon. But hey, you know what? I'm half HP. I have both bubbles. There we go. Oh, we're gonna get out of there. Okay. That was a little desperate, I'll be honest, but it's okay. How do I feel about DPS, the Diamond DPS in top 500? The top 500 leaderboard right now is awful. There's no getting around that. I'm hoping that over the period of the season that it'll get better and more balanced, where the higher level players are actually at the top 10 especially.
We will crush them. Take care of each other out
Oh,
there.
hey, Rage, I just saw your text. I'm sure that you know the answer, but my bad. I don't know. I don't think that it necessarily would, because the way they did the score system, it's what people will share. So. Oh, look, there it is, chat. You guys saw it? It was there. We saw it in the wild. Okay, a little too low. I'm going out the wrong way here, but I'm just trying to keep cover. Okay. Okay, can I get up there without the knockback perk? I don't know. We're gonna try. I feel like we can. Nope. Okay. I mean, from where we're at right now, I don't think there's a way, no. Oh, there's a sim now. I am staying here too long. No anti-nade. Oh, didn't mean to drop there. We're gonna back up. Be sure to thank Diva for free elo. I'm probably cooked here. Yeah, I should have kept walking. Shooting the bob there without walking back to more to my team was a bad mistake. That's unfortunate. We lose that point because of that. Okay, no big deal. Set up next. Bro. Okay. It was a bad idea, but it's working. It shouldn't have, but it worked, so. They went Rhine. Walk back out. He's probably cooked, yeah. He's gonna shatter. Thank God. I was worried that shatter was not gonna work well. Man, their whole team fell apart. Holy cow. Beautiful. Okay, well, I don't have to change the graphic. I forgot 2 games in a row anyway. I do feel like that game was okay. I'm going to look over my stats for just a second, just kind of chew on it. It's still a win, which I'll take, but like... Still feel like maybe I was playing too passively. Like as a general statement. Not badly, just to be clear. I just feel like I was playing still too passively. Why do I like playing Zarya so much? I just enjoy Beam. That's all. Beam go boom. That's all. It's literally that simple. Also, thick Russian muscle mommy, so there's that. My wife just shaking her head over in the corner. Kesar, Void to Hell, Quokka, maybe? One Tav, Bo, Vaccine Man, Hamboober. What a hilarious name. GG Bridget, maybe? Thank you so much for the follow and for the bit. I appreciate it. Kusho and Ardia Goat, thanks so much for the follow. And Brodog, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube. I appreciate it. I never know with some of these words if they're going to end up being a slur, and I guess get canceled tomorrow, but a guy can like big, strong Russian lady. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's going good today. How about you? Everybody doing all right? These games have actually felt pretty good. I feel like I'm playing okay. Not exceptionally, but like playing decently, I'd say. I'd be more concerned if a guy didn't like big strong Russian ladies. Facts. My wife just said, and I know you guys couldn't hear her, she just said he's either gay or lying. Nothing wrong with being gay, but just saying. I think even Wizard, you're my resident gay man. Get over here. Are we even as very homosexual males, or are you also attracted to muscular Russian women? Or he's probably like at work right now going, wait, I'm being called out, what the heck's going on? You've lost 2 games out of 2? Unfortunate, bro. I'm sorry. JQ is your #1 muscle mommy? Based. Did he just ask a gay guy if he likes women? I think that's like the main thing they aren't attracted to. I'm just saying I feel like Zarya might be an exception to the rule, alright? JQ, I want to rub my face on her abs. Okay, chat. I think some of you are going rule 34 right now and need to chill, alright? Is it rule 34? I don't know. It's one of them rules. My wife looks upon you with judgment.
I am. I'm judging all of you. Yes, I am. Judging you too, Deaton.
You people? What do you mean, you people, Deaton? What does that mean? I want JQ to crush my skull in their thighs. Oh my gosh, chat. Chill. Yeah, okay, Deaton, okay. Don't look at us like that. Show her pick a JQ, she'll change her mind. Base. Yeah, that's it. Kick the trash can. Well done. Alright. Let's rock and roll. We got a vendetta and again. What the I blinked and I was in the ceiling. Do we want to talk about it? Now I know how much charge that gives. Didn't know if it would be worth doing. Now I know it's probably not. Okay, Mint Bubble just didn't quite get there in time. Oh my. Half a second too late on that. This Wu Yang's kind of slippery over here. Let them handle that. Oh, I thought they were gonna go back in. Oh. Uh-oh. What, huh? Wait, what brought me back down? Does that force you back to the ground? Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know that until just now. Huge Vendetta ult. Oh my gosh. probably dead there. Oh, big life crimp. Oh my. Quickly, everyone press Q. Wait, Wizard, you respond to that, but you didn't hear my question that I directly asked you a little bit ago? Or is it such a bad question that you just ignored me? Be honest. I can take it. I'm sorry, I'm at work. Oh, yeah, right. Jobs. What did I ask? We were talking about how thick Russian muscle mommy attraction is not relevant to whether or not we are attracted to feminine or attracted to masculine. And I feel like you would be attracted to Zarya despite your homosexuality. Thoughts? Let's everybody pause. Wizard, be honest. Are you attracted to Zarya? That's the real question we're asking right now. We're all waiting with bated breath. If I was this Genji, I'd be like, this is Zarya knows. I'm a knower, dude. Wow, Wizard, you're still not watching me. You got a call at work, I guarantee you, right as he was about to start typing his answer. That's incorrect. There's a lot of gay, adjacent straight men who would want to be pegged by Russian muscle mommies, usually because of mommy issues. Oh my god. Oh, Wizard, I love you, dude. I can always rely on you to say something that I never expect you to say. They went Winton. I'm actually kind of breaking my neck here, ain't gonna lie. Where's this Vendetta? Oh no, why would you go in? Wait, where did what? Oh my gosh. Oh no. I don't know if we can actually do anything with this or not. My team is actually just insane. Oh my gosh, my team is actually just insane. My team is insane. My team is insane. My life weaver actually knows how to use grip. Okay, that was a bad bubble. Okay, let's just all acknowledge that was a bad bubble and move on with our lives. Oh boy. Hey, yo, I'm actually not gonna say that I didn't play. I think I played well there in low key. Okay, we don't want to use any more bubbles unless we have it. Yeah, that would have been the one to use though, low key. Yeah, unfortunately, there's just not much. Wizard, what are you on about? All right. Oh, this was actually the worst rotation I probably could have made. Loki, I probably should have bubbled the Freya there. Too slow on that. I die for it. I meant to... Oh, that wasn't even our support. I thought that... I got confused at the Freya there. I thought our Freya was our Juno. And I thought that if I had bubbled her, we could have lived there. But that's my fault. That's crazy, Wizard. And they're dead. Yeah, I don't know if our Deadeye gets out or not. Okay, they've used. Yeah, that's just... We're just dead. That was a great play from them. These guys are overtime Andes, and I'm letting them get away with it. This will be a good one to review for sure. Not a bad game, I don't think. Like, I'm not playing horribly. I just feel like I should be able to do more here. Oh, can I help my team get out? Or stay in a little bit longer? Yeah, he's got the mega. Yeah, that's just great plays. He probably dies here. Okay, you're alone. Just leave. Man, I'm throwing right now. Yeah, TPing in is never the play, by the way. Almost have grab. I'm an idiot. Their Zen was on the point. Oh well. Yeah. Oh well. Is what it is. We have immensely more time than they do. We should be able to win this, but this should not have gone into rounds 3 and 4. We'll review the second point for sure. That'll be the one we review after this game. Overwatch League is calling. True. Calling back from the dead. May it rest in peace. Yeah, we're gonna keep this other perk. We just have to win a couple fights here. We are down a support at the moment. Hopefully they'll spawn in time, get here in time. That'd be good. We just have to play accordingly. Where's my Moira positioned? All the way. Why? Please. You're the only support. Just don't be all the way back there. That's all I'm asking. Okay, our Brig's on our way. Nice. Probably just had to pee. It's okay. God forbid you have a human need. That bubble, we should be able to burn him. Okay, apparently not. Just have Moira and and I'm cooked. They C9'd. Beautiful. Oh, kept the monkey distracted. That worked.
Watch our flanks. They might try something.
All right. So they capped and went a little bit, but if we just play patiently, we have more time than they do. We play patient, enable our DPS that are playing very well. We should be able to win this. They went Ryan, that's fine. can't do that. I'm sorry, Vendetta should not be able to do that. I am going to start calling that out. That damage mitigation's too high. That's way too high. We also have a Vendetta, so it's winnable. It's just, I just don't. I think it's really that, like her damage mitigation should not be that high at all. Huh. Alright. Now if they just play this carefully, they should be able to regroup. Or int. That's fine too. I'm ready for you to... Ready for us to do this. This should be just a 3-win, like a 3 combo. Be able to win this. That should not have been that close. We're gonna review the second round. That should not have been that close. I think Vendetta's kit overall is fine. I just feel like the damage is way too high. Or the damage mitigation. It feels like RAM pre-fix. Diamond 2 is the peak. So I think what we'll do is we'll look over the actual replay here. Who's adding me? Who is this? Nah, I don't know who that is, but obviously it's a streamer mode thing, but we're gonna look over this one. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like it feels that same exact way is my point. So we're gonna go to second round. That was a good time to turn around, yeah. So far this doesn't look really that bad. It's set on a resource meter. Yeah, but Rams is on a 7-second cooldown. It was still a problem. All right, so Call and Lynn, maybe. You guys are new here. I'm not going to listen to chat advice. I don't know how to, and I've said this many times before, but I'll say it because you guys are new. I don't look for advice from my community because I do have a coach. I listen to his advice because I can vet him, and I cannot vet every single one of you that comes through. You can claim you have a peak of this or that and the other thing, but I don't have the time to go verify all that like I do with my coach. So because I have a one-on-one coach that I'm working with, I'm going to work on the things that he suggested. No offense to any of you. I'm just looking for where I went wrong from where my perspective lies and what I'm working on. That's all. Hey, Cole, you're welcome to be here. You're brand new. You're used to being able to go in any streamer's chat and say what you want. So I'm going to tell you, if you keep on, I'm just going to give you a timeout, and you're welcome to come back after. I don't put up with people that continue to force their ideas after someone has asked respectfully to stop. So great grip from our life weaver here. So what happened right before here? I think I was just too far in. So I'm here. Yeah, right here is where it falls apart. And not because of my vendetta, but because I stayed and there's no one else with me. We don't have support. I should have been playing a lot more safe here. I get gripped. But I end up ultimately giving up the point because I'm 200 HP. I can't really walk into the point. Yeah, I think a lot of this fell apart because I was in too deep at the beginning, and that just created a cascading effect. I mean, it worked, but then what happened after this? I think we do it again. Just hanging out, Wrath Valor. How are you? Mini, walk back forward. Yeah, we should have held this. I had to walk off the point. Why did I have to walk off the point? Okay, Vendetta. Okay. Did I have a bubble where I could have kept her up? Yep, I just wasn't fast enough on that. Okay. Yeah. I think that it was a combination of kind of staying too far forward, which encouraged my Vendetta to do the same. So again, it was just a too far forward thing. I think it really is that simple for those. Like, I just was not backing off and respecting what was happening a bit more in my face there. We won the game, but I don't think we should have. Yeah, no, that's exact. Yeah, and I'm sure you guys were probably hearing me acknowledge that too. I could have bubbled her for sure. That would have been a good call. I just didn't react fast enough. Catch up on some follows real quick here. Carl, Cognacs, Adam, Cole, Skyfall, not sure how to say your name. Matsi, Jamie, Benja the Turtle, Azula, Lich, Tempemer? I'm not sure how to say your name. Mozum. Let's see, getting through here. NXPT, Pugs, and NLO. Thanks so much for the follows, man. I really do appreciate it, guys. Growth has been absolutely bonkers lately. We hit 12K on YouTube last night, which is insane. Especially considering we only hit 10K, I think, like 3 months ago. So, definitely starting to go in an upward trajectory here. Oh, my upper back needs to be popped so bad. Oh, gosh. I need to go see a chiropractor.
The Hashimoto are a massive force, with a lot more firepower than a gang of kids.
Hey, yo, Rexy, chill. Yo. Hey, not here, bro. Not here. Can you do a CS2 case opening stream? If I ever played CS, but I literally don't think I touched CS ever. If I did, it was for like memes. So I don't think that was my big takeaway. While it was a problem, it's not my thing that I'm trying to focus on. They are swapping probably to a mirror if I had to guess. Oh, or to a counter. That was a bad bubble, actually. Yep, I die here. Okay. I should have backed out a little bit sooner there. No sleep dart. Does your coach tell you to do them? To do what exactly? The VOD reviews? Or something else? Oh, I see your previous message. I'm sure that's what you're asking for, but I want to double check. Is that what you're asking about?
So let's give it to them.
What's up, Evan? Good to see you. No, because what he'll do is like, so my coach will identify the things I need to work on, which right now are target priorities and off angles. Sorry, I couldn't remember the word off angle for a minute. So I basically review my games to look for whether or not I'm doing well in those things or not. Okay, that doesn't work without the jump up perk. I shot the Cassidy for too long. That's completely my fault. The fact that we never capped the point, though, is super unfortunate on my part. Yeah, that's just on me. Shouldn't have been shooting the cast. I should have been looking to get on the Kiriko there. That's my bad. Like, who got bubbled there? This guy, he's trolling. Oh, okay. Good sleep. Slept again. Forced a cooldown. Bubbles. Yep. I waited for bubble and a half, but just wasn't. Yeah, I'm kind of ashamed of that round. That was not my best. Valk might go in. Yeah, I couldn't just walk through the front there. If I rock through the front, we die. So, oh well. Yeah, I definitely, bro, like, touch? No. Sorry, you did your best and you did a great job, but, like, I walked there, I just die anyway, so I had to try and get a kill. is what it is. I can understand why you'd be frustrated for sure. This mercy is fair, but I did enable that touch for sure. Zumbita, that's hilarious. Hey guys, I'm gonna re-emphasize the let's not backseat game. You guys are welcome to think what you want about my gameplay, but I have a coach. I'm gonna continue to focus on his feedback, not yours. And I mean that with the most respect I can say it. I just don't know whether I can. There's no way I can keep up with all that. All right. Caught him out of position. That was really good off angles. I'm really proud of that one. That was good. Continuing to force him to look a different direction. No offense taken, man. I was just re-emphasizing it. You're welcome to talk about it. Just know that if I don't listen to the advice, it's not personal, I guess is maybe the better way for me to phrase that. Fair call out. This Hanzo's on his own. Not anymore. Okay, I have no bubbles. Now I have a bubble. We can walk up. Do you always take this major perk? No, the Lance perk, not always. It really just depends. So I try to look at like a couple of things. Sometimes I just misclick too. Like I think that one might have just been a misclick. But I try to look for whether or not I'm going to have more value out of Projected Bubble or Lance. And that largely depends on shield presence. So, because you can't Lance through a shield. This Sig was really good. Yeah, look at him go. That was good. Of course, he got nanoed, but yeah, generally, I actually do the spotter perk. It just really depends. It just really depends. But great games today, man. Only 5 minutes late getting off stream, too. And I was on time getting here. Not bad. Yeah, all 4 games today were wins. And, like, decisive wins. Like, with the exception of... Was it Hollywood? It was Hollywood. Where I really feel like I could have just done more. I did well, but I could have done more. So, really, really proud of today's performance. I feel like my mental was at a good spot, too. It's amazing what a good night of sleep and like 160 milligrams of caffeine to the dome will do for you. But you've been playing great the few games I got to watch. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate the kind words. Well, I got to put a vertical together for you guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central. This is Gaming for Hope. I'm signing off.